In this episode of The Big Story, York Street Primary School in Linstead, St. Catherine reacts to the sudden death of one of its teachers, Keisha Brown Howell. The principal said the school's population is devastated.
The atmosphere is somber. Students are crying, teachers are crying, parents are crying. It's just, I want to have a better words, just total devastation.
Parents have done more than express condolences. This as a number of them showed up at the school to fill in for teachers who were undergoing grief counseling.
I'm here to lend a hand of support to my fellow parents, teachers, because she was a nice lady and she will be surely missed.
Some residents of York Street, where the school is located, joined in singing the late teacher's praise.
She was very involved in the community. Any little thing keeping, she was always present and showed her support, even when it has nothing to do with the school body itself. So she's a very nice and involved person.
And the school's guidance counselor has sound advice for all who are mourning.
Don't bottle up the emotions inside. It is always good to express what you're feeling.
Stay with us as we go beyond the sound bites and the headlines on this, The Big Story. Signs of grief permeated the atmosphere at York Street Primary School in Linstead, St. Catherine on Monday, November 25, 2024, the first day of classes since the death of one of the institution's teachers, Keisha Brown Howell. She passed away suddenly at her Orangefield home in Linstead on Friday, November 22. The school's principal, Alicia MacLeod, who spent much of Monday morning in grief counseling sessions with her staff, said the school is devastated by the loss.
We have lost Mrs. Keisha Brown Howell, who has been a member of staff for the past 13 years. But prior to that 13 years, she would have spent a short stint with us, I think 8 months or a year with us in 1997. The atmosphere is somber. Students are crying, teachers are crying, parents are crying. It's just, I want to have a better words, just total devastation.
Similar sentiments were expressed by the school's guidance counselor, Andre Stedman.
It's a difficult one, very difficult one. We came in this morning, the students were crying, members of staff, just the same, but losing someone that is so vibrant and active, it will leave a very big impact, on the staff and on the students, So right now they're just going through the grief process. This is the beginning, so they're just coming to grips with what is really happening.
Hello, my name is Daniel Clark from the York Street Primary School. And in 2021, I was in grade 1, and the teacher by the name of Miss Howell taught me. She was a very great teacher, but unfortunately, on Friday, she passed away.
The late teacher's colleagues who were interviewed by the Beacon spoke highly of her.
Oh, Miss Howell was she was just a hard worker. She was a vibrant individual. She was jovial. She was just loving, caring. She was just, the life of the party.
She's a bubbly person. She's always willing to help, right? She was one of the persons I talked to about being a part of the guidance committee. And she said no. But every time we had an event, she was always there to give some sort of suggestion. Sir, you can do this or do that, And she was that type of person, just being supportive, being loving and caring. Everyone that she was around, right? She put a smile on their face. And I'm sure that's what she'll be remembered for.
The principal, along with her staff, spent much of Monday morning huddled in a room at the school, soaking up grief counseling. During that time, students were supervised by parents who visited the institution to give moral support.
I'm here to support the teachers and children because of their loss. They lost a wonderful person, a wonderful teacher, a wonderful soul. somebody that people around love so much. They speak very highly of her.
Miss Owl that I know, because I can't speak for anyone else. She was a very nice person. She was giving, she was caring, she was always there for everyone. She used to think that everything goes the way it's supposed to. So that was Miss Owl. I was surprised when I heard she passed off.
I didn't get an encounter with Miss Owl, but based on what I've heard, that she was a jovial person, well-rounded person. She always expect the best of the students, always encourage them. So I was anticipating her to teach my child, but unfortunately, her life has cut short and we didn't get a chance to. But I'm here to lend a hand of support to my fellow parents, teachers, because she was a nice lady and she will be surely missed.
Many of our parents came out this morning just to lend their support and to comfort us and to strengthen us. And many of them were grieving too because they would have had personal relationships with Mrs. Howell, because she would have taught their children and they would have appreciated the manner in which she would have, dealt with the students and so on. So they were really here this morning to lend their support to, the grieving process that is really happening here at school.
In addition to parents, guidance counselors from a number of schools in the Linstead area also visited York Street Primary on Monday to assist with grief counselling.
We had support from other schools. Some of my principal colleagues were here from Time and Patience Primary, Jericho Primary, and Burmody Primary. And then we had guidance counselors from our QEC 53. And we had members from Charlemont High School, McGrath High School, Time and Patience Primary, Jericho Primary, and Burmody Primary.
And we got a lot of support from members in the QEC, right? The guidance unit ensured that they reached out to members of the QEC for guidance counselors to come in, and also principals. We also got support from the church, so parents came in and were able to assist. So we got a whole lot of support.
The Ministry of Education would have been notified and they would have sent their condolences, and the guidance and counseling unit at the Ministry of Education Region 6 will be coming in tomorrow to have sessions with the staff and the students.
Here at York Street Primary is almost as if we're all family, right? So losing someone, it's as if everyone just came to rally around and give support.
She was very nice and she liked athletics. I think two students told me a while ago she's very encouraging. She always encourages her to run. So I think the students here, they miss her very much. She play a very good part in their life.
But how was the bad news delivered, especially to the students?
It was really hard. A student came to me this morning and said, "Sir, Mrs. Howell is really gone." And it breaks my heart to say that, yes, she is gone. There's no easy way to say it, but we have to tell them the truth, right? But we have to just try to help them to go through this grieving process.
At the time the teacher died, she was on 8 months vacation leave, which would have ended at the start of May 2025. She was active in Linstead town doing business during the daytime on the fateful Friday, not knowing that she would have drawn her last breath before the day ended. Her husband, David Howell, told the Beacon that she died suddenly at home while complaining that she was not breathing properly. She was asthmatic and she also had high blood pressure. Asked how he thinks his wife would have wanted to be remembered, the husband gave this response.
Teaching.
The late Howell taught at Lower Victoria Basic School and, as said before, she was a grade 2 teacher at York Street Primary up to when she passed away. York Street Primary is also the school where her younger son is enrolled. Outside the school compound on the first Monday after the death, a number of residents lamented the educator's passing, adding that she was loved throughout the York Street community, although she was only working there.
She was very involved in the community. Any little thing keeping, she was always present and showed her support, even when it has nothing to do with the school body itself. So she's a very nice and involved person.
She was a very vibrant teacher. And I just lost for words when I heard that she passed away. But, you know, it shake me up bad. And most parents who miss Miss Howell, really miss her.
The Miss Howell was a teacher that we can't forget. She was such a nice person that she took her job very seriously, and she was like family to all of us. And let me tell you something, when she's around, it's like happiness, joy. She's just always friendly and funny to each and every one of us. So this is kind of a deep tragedy for every one of us because she moved us deeply and nobody saw this coming. And it's really sad. It's a sad, sad moment for the York Street district on a whole, differently from the school.
The grief for the late Howell was clearly widespread in the community of Linstead, which only 5 months earlier suddenly lost another well-known teacher, 39-year-old Cassandra Rigg, who was on staff at Jericho Primary School. That's a photo of Howell in the red dress, posing while she was at the funeral held in July 2024 for her colleague educator Rigg. In the meantime, the York Street Primary School Guidance Counselor offered sage advice to all who are mourning Howell's death.
Now, this is a difficult piece. There is nothing I can really say to ease the pain, right? Because it's something that we all have to go through. But for right now, what I can say to them is to try and lean on God, right? Because He's always there. When it's difficult, He's always there. If you have a friend, a close family member, someone that you can speak with, that is also a plus. Don't bottle up the emotions inside. It is always good to express what you're feeling. Some persons will say, "Oh, I don't want to cry because I want to seem as if I'm strong." But it makes sense to express what you're feeling because in the long run, it will affect you negatively.
This is the Jamaica Beacon.